Gotta get more followers.
Hello everyone, welcome to February 27th, guys. Still a little catch-up trade, one of my named trade setups I look for. Happened to record it, figured I'd share it with you, so I actually screen recorded the whole trade, and what I'm going to do in this video is walk you through the trade, because I think that's what people like to see more, is the explanation of, why you enter, why you put your stop or your take profit where you do. First things first, my website, CanadianFuturesTrader.ca. If you happen to see this video before February 29th, 2024, doing a giveaway with Take Profit Trader, come to my website, front and center. Apex 8% off, doing pass in 1 day. Guys, as for the trade we're going to walk through, if you come here, you go to the free futures course. I encourage you to look at all of it, but the playbook is really kind of the gemstone. It's the North Star of the course. And here, if you scroll down, my very first trade setup that I discussed. I recorded these videos, guys, a couple years ago. They still hold true today. So you can learn a little bit about the catch-up. I put a few examples in from a year ago, a couple years ago, and we're going to look at another example from today, literally less than an hour ago, in this video. But in short, the catch-up trade is where the ZN and the UB, so the 10-year and the 30-year. On here I mentioned ZB as well. I used to also include ZB. I don't really look at ZB anymore, which is the 30-year also. But so I typically, and you'll see in the video, we're going to go through just ZN and UB. What I look for is ZN makes a move. UB has not yet. I fully expect it to, as the name implies, catch up to where the ZN is. So let's get into it. But you can find that, like I said, you already saw it, free futures course. Go to page 4 if you want. There's other setups as well, but I would say to catch up and break low, break higher, my two kind of bread and butter ones. So here we are. This is the screen record. I had just entered the trade. So on the right-hand side is Ultrabond. I also today, I'll just mention, I just rolled my contracts to the June contract. When I looked this morning, the March contract still had slightly more volume than June, but just for sake, so I don't forget, I rolled forward to the June contract. There's enough volume that it's worthwhile trading for sure. So I have my Ultrabond, and my 10-year is here on the left. Set to June, just in case anybody's looking at the prices and they're wondering why they're maybe different than yours. If you haven't rolled forward yet, definitely something you're going to have to do here in the next day, if not today. And these two ticker tapes are correlated to the ZN. Not just correlated, they are the ZN, just so you know. So I'm short 25 lots of Ultrabond. This is my own account. A lot of people always ask which company is this. I have accounts with several of the companies. Been trading my own accounts, quite honestly, guys, quite a bit more lately. I still have all my accounts, but really been dumping all the profits into my own account. I've been trading a lot of corn lately, 100 lots of corn. I actually expect to make some videos on that next week, maybe even live streams. But I happened to sign in after lunch. I know the timestamp isn't on here. I dragged the timestamp bar up like halfway through this video, so we'll get there. But it's basically whatever, about 2 p.m. or something Eastern time. You'll see the time when it comes up. And yes, so let's look at this. So this is a video. I have it paused right now. ZN very clearly at the low of the day and pushing it. The sellers are pounding this. When I say pounding, it's relative. It's the afternoon. It's kind of slow. But the sellers are hitting into these buyers. So I'm expecting it to break lower. Ultrabond over here, several ticks off their low. So this is like perfect, classic catch-up setup, if you will. So I immediately, without too much hesitation, just jumped in, went short at the current price, and I'm short 25 contracts. So I'm going to let this play now a little bit, and we might zip ahead because it does kind of move, slowly. Like I said, it's in the afternoon. Here I'm just was setting my computer to not go into sleep mode. Actually, set my laptop down and got myself a nice beverage while I was waiting for this to kind of play out a little bit. So, like I said, guys, I'm actually going to zip through this a little bit just because, all in all, I think the trade was, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. We'll see at the end. So not super long, but there's a lot of just kind of dead time, if you will. So at this stage in the trade, I'm literally just waiting to see what's next. I would say I'm in conservation mode at this point, because if this turns around, say this went sour on me, I'd be looking to get out. So right now I'm not really thinking about how much can I make. It's more I need to get out if this starts to turn against me. But as you can see, the magic touch works again. It's already starting to tick down a little bit in our favor. So I'm going to zip ahead of here a little bit. Like I said, it's moving a little bit slow, is why I don't normally trade the afternoons. Yeah, like you can see here, we're a minute 40 in. Basically, nothing has happened. Here, we're 3 minutes into the trade. It has basically moved nowhere. Okay, finally we get a little crackdown here. They finally start trading a tick lower, and you see right over here on the Ultra bonds immediately move down. So here you're starting to get that catch up. You know, the Ultra bond wizards out there see, okay, ZN isn't screwing around. Those guys are going lower. They're taking this lower. They actually cracked it lower. Time to bring this down. So that's exactly what we're looking for. So right here, we're 2 good ticks to the good. Eventually, I do put in a stop loss and a take profit. I actually put the take profit in first. So again, let's just zip ahead a little bit. I'm just kind of skipping a few seconds at a time here. Again, it's just hanging out, slow moving. Okay, so there, I'm just going to backtrack just a smidge. So I put in a take profit, and if you know Jigsaw, you'll understand what all this is. I have my order entry size set to 5, so when I'm setting my take profit, I have to click it 5 times basically to add up to 25. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting a take profit just below the lowest price that it traded at. Basically, what I'm hoping is at this point, I shouldn't say hoping, one possible outcome I'm thinking is a possibility, is these guys continue to push this low, this fires down, it breaks its low, we get our $4,000 in profit or whatever this is, 3,800, 3,900, and it's not the worst trade on earth by any means. No, and there's where I drag up the time. So if you want the timestamps, I know a lot of people like the timestamps. It's at 2:19 Eastern time. So here we go. So I said to take profit. I should also mention part of putting in a take profit and stop loss is getting yourself set in the queue. So you'll see here 25L is 25 lots. Queue position 350. So even if it trades down at this price, like I'm at the back of the line essentially. There's 375 contracts sitting here on the bid. I'm positioned 350. So if it only touched here, I'm not getting filled. It really needs to work its way through most of the contracts. So putting on that take profit kind of gives me an advantage. And my plan is if it aggressively moves down, I'm going to move this a little bit further, and you'll see that transpire here shortly. I actually do exactly that, and to do as well, I eventually put in a stop loss. So here they are, they're attacking this, but not too aggressively, quite honestly. You're also seeing a lot of buyers trying to fight back. Bang, big order, they punch it through, and now these guys are down to the next level. Over here on ZN. On the right side, Ultrabond, you're starting to see it tick down as well. What you're going to see me do here in a second is move my take profit, I think 1 and then 2 ticks down. When I like to squeeze as much profit as I can out of every trade. So if it was to flash down, which happens sometimes, you get like flurries of activity. So if it flashed down 2 ticks to 3 ticks, hits it, takes me out, fantastic, awesome trade. So here we are, we're starting to press down. Here you're going to see me move my take profit 1 tick down. So now we're looking to try and lock in 4,600. I'm not going to spoil the punchline as to how I actually get out of this trade. So looking back, and here I am setting a stop loss. I'm actually just going to pause this really quick. You'll see I have my order size set to 5 lots. You might be saying, CFT, you're trading 25, why not just set it 25? It's just habit. I have my defaults all kind of set here. I have 5. I'm used to just like click 5 times, I click 1 too many times though, so I put in a limit order for 30. So you'll see here in a second, I cancel that. There you go. And I re-entered for 25 cautiously. There you go. So at worst, this trade moves against us. I'm going to pause this for a sec because there's kind of a lot happening here in the last second. I'm actually going to move it back just a touch. And this is kind of how the Ultrabond can be. Like nothing, I entered the trade, nothing happened for several minutes. Now it's like moving quickly down. I'm putting in I'm moving my take profit. I'm setting my stop loss. I'm moving my stop loss, all that type of stuff. So we're also eyeballing here the 10 years. They're punching down, and I do have a pause now, just to reiterate that. So here I am, I'm re-putting in my stop loss. At worst, this goes against us. you know what? We make $750 after commissions. Not the worst trade. But certainly we want to try and get as much as we can out of it without risking too much. Like I would rather lock in, and we're going to get to that point. As it moves down, I'm going to continue moving my take profit in hopes of almost like a flash, like pound down. But I'm also going to trail manually a stop loss. Um, and that's just what happened, because some people would look at this and say, hey, I'm just going to take the $3,900 here, call it good. It's a lot of money. But in some ways you kind of become jaded a little bit. It's not so much about the money, it's more just the price action and following it. And you see it time and time again over the years. You kind of figure out your own style and how you want to trade it. So my style is very much, you know what, I'll manually trade with a stop loss. If it starts turning around on me, I'll get out. But I also want that take profit in case there's like it just runs right down. So let this play. Focus on the stop loss here. I re-put in the 25. I quickly move my take profit a tick down just because it seems to be moving a little bit quicker. I also move my stop loss down one more tick. So at worst, we're getting like 1,500 out of this trade at this point. So honestly, guys, even if this ran right back against me, it's not. I don't consider that a bad thing. Like I hear so many times from people like, "Oh, you could have had 3,000. You could have had 3,900." True, I could have, but if this runs back against us, we get a win. This is a winning trade. And you're seeing here, they're pushing it a little bit harder. They're hitting this. These guys are hitting this. Look at those sells. They're just pounding this. So at this point, I was quite honestly expecting it to, at some point, just bang through this low and quite honestly hit this. Now, again, I don't want to ruin the surprise, and we're almost at the end of the video. So obviously something happens here shortly. So I just want to pause this again, and I probably sound like a broken record, but at this point, you kind of have three options. Well, you have several options, but the three kind of, I would say you have are, let this sit, see if it hits this, and great. And just, I mean, I could do nothing. Just let this sit. I'm either going to make 1,500 or I'm going to make, 40, or sorry, not 40, 5,400 approximately. Big difference, but still a profitable trade. Option two would be try to manage these a lot further. Option three is maybe just like at the first sign of a change in the tide, get out of it. And that's pretty much what happens. I'll ruin this price since we're coming up here. So at this very second, though, like not knowing the future, these guys are pounding this. These guys are still pushing low. These guys are at their low. So the catch-up, ta-da, like worked. Like we got a catch-up trade. Like that's complete. At this point, we're almost just sort of morphed into break low territory, and hoping to see this break low. So continue to let it play. Now, what you're going to see here very quickly, just to kind of give you a heads up, it does the tide changes. These got the buyers start to come in, they start to work on the 10 years here, and this very quickly pops up. And you can see that there. So I'm going to pause this really quick. All of a sudden, they work through these guys at this price level 18 in like lickety split, and now they're going to start working on these guys. It's about that time, and again, this video ends here like very shortly, so I'll tell you now. As soon as they start working on these guys, I move my, in quotes, stop loss, which I mean isn't a loss, but my my stop loss at that point down to 19, so we get out at 19. So it's kind of recognizing, nope, the tide has changed, the situation's changed, the landscape's changed. Let's take what we've got. And honestly, guys, 23, call it 22 after commissions, not so bad for a little 10-minute trade. So you see here, I've got my mouse hovering, I click, I move my stop loss, we're here, and this is going to get filled here in a second. And there you go. That's it. Trade is complete. So hopefully that was of some value, trying to walk you through the actual trade and what I was thinking at each stage. Like I said, I think that was like a perfect example of like kind of a catch up, little bit of a break low, but also kind of seeing where the break low didn't really push on and on. It kind of tested it and then pulled back. And that's where we said, hey, let's get out of this thing, take our money and run basically. And hey, another winning trade for the books. Not bad for 10 minutes of work. Guys, as I mentioned, I think at the beginning, been trading a lot of corn lately. Plan on doing some corn trading videos next week, so look for those. Probably some Ultrabond trading as well. Let's be honest, Treasury Ultrabond icon here. Visit my website, want the promos, trader valuations. I mean, enter the giveaway, 100% free for Take Profit. Great outfit. They just introduced a rewards program on Monday, like literally yesterday. So when you're with them, you buy evaluations, but also just you pass evaluations and withdraw profits. You earn credits that you can use towards more evaluations. So not a bad deal whatsoever. Looking forward to making some more videos. Been go through ebbs and flows, but definitely having a lot of fun lately. Doing some UB and doing some ZC trading. I myself am just kind of hanging out in Mexico for 2 more weeks, avoiding Canadian winter. So my plans are eat tacos, drink margaritas, and trade futures. Not in that order, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.